5:30, Connect to Providence, our monthly segment here on NBC 10 with Mayor Brett Smiley. In a busy start to February, more talk about returning Providence Public Schools to local control, plus what's going on with Providence Place. Always good to see you, Mayor. Thanks for spending time with us.
Happy to be here.
So I want to, you confirmed just off camera here that you were not invited to the earlier discussion this weekend news conference from the state about the control of schools.
That's right.
Okay. There was something that the commissioner had said at that time, and I want to play that soundbite so you can hear it, so you can get a proper response.
The city has talked about June of this year. That's impossible without a plan. You know, you have to build a plan. There's so many pieces to this that I think that the city does not understand, and that is something that we have been meeting, and it sort of got released in the news.
So many pieces that you don't understand. What don't you understand?
I'm not sure what I don't understand. I'm not sure what they don't understand, which is that we've been meeting with them regularly. They've sent us multiple letters, and there really wasn't a lot of new news to us at that press conference. All the conditions and steps that they outlined have all been communicated to us already, and in fact, we've already responded to where we are in all of those. Folks in my city know that we convened something called the Return to Local Control Cabinet well over a year ago. We've been hard at work at this. And we released a report today, actually, on all the community feedback that we've received. And in April, we're releasing a report that has outlined the steps that we've taken thus far and what we plan to do. And so I feel like we're on track. RIDE/PPSD, the Department of Education and the school district knows where we are in that process. I agree, this is not something you can do overnight. We haven't been doing it overnight. We've been working on it for well over a year now.
Right. I sense in that soundbite a tone from the education commissioner. You know, I mean, when you have a good relationship, you know, she could have said, hey, we're working with the mayor and we're going to come together. We're going to see what we can do as early as possible. That was not what she said. It was a little bit of a tone. Do you guys get along? Is there like a little back and forth with all of you?
I mean, as everyone knows, we had a lawsuit that was settled in November, and that frayed relationships, to be sure. Those were tough negotiations. The consequences are significant for my city. I'm going to have to raise taxes this year in order to pay for that lawsuit. And so relationships have been frayed. But, you know, what my goal is, and certainly what I hear from parents in my city is like, I don't care if you guys don't get along, don't like each other. You need to put all that aside and do better by my kids. And so that's what we're trying to do. I'm not interested in debating. I don't care that I didn't get invited to the press conference earlier this week. What I care about is doing better by these kids. The majority of my city wants the schools back in local control. The majority of my city doesn't believe that the schools are better off than they were before the takeover. And so we've got some real work to do, and the only thing that should matter is putting these kids and their families front and center. When
you talk to the governor, I'm assuming you have a decent relationship with him. Obviously, you meet with him quite a bit. Where does he stand on this? Because he seemed like he was, you know, kind of the Switzerland.
Well, the governor, I know, cares about the kids in Providence, and the governor's been in Providence schools quite a bit, which I appreciate. And he defers to the commissioner appropriately on kind of education policy and the K-12 board that took this vote. But he's also a former mayor and knows what it's like to have parents look to the mayor for answers and not look to the governor or to the commissioner.
But
I'm the public official that they know.
But does he have the power to say, okay, Angelica, we're gonna give it back?
The power to extend the takeover or not was a vote of the K-12 Board of Education. Those are board members appointed by the governor. Okay. But it was their decision and their determination. The city has introduced legislation this year to end the takeover June 30th, July 1st. That will go through the General Assembly, and if and hopefully when it passes, will land on the governor's desk. He'll certainly have a responsibility at that point to decide whether or not he'll sign or veto that piece of legislation.
All right, I want to ask you this question. Parents of school kids in Providence want accountability. They weren't too thrilled when the state took it over. How are they going to have confidence in you that when you take it back, that their kids are actually going to get a proper education?
That is exactly the right question to ask. That's the only thing that we should care about is parents feeling like they have a stake in their kids' outcomes and that we do better than we're doing right now.
I mean, some would say you can't do any worse.
Well, the proficiency rates in some schools are single digits, which is appalling and a crisis. And so we have a brand new school board. The school board, the city council, and I are totally on the same page. We've done extensive community engagement, and I would argue that we do better community engagement. Our parents know us. They know their city council person, they know their mayor, and now they know their school board member. And so when we push decisions down to the school level so that principals are empowered to make decisions that are best for their building, they'll have someone to hold responsible. That's their school board member, their city council member, and their mayor, which is much different than the seemingly sort of out of touch, somewhat enigmatic thing of RIDE, and that nobody knows how to reach RIDE. They know how to reach their mayor. They stop me in the supermarket, believe me, and they're going to hold me accountable for better results for their kids.
What about you? If you had kids, would you put them in the Providence public schools? And because there's some mayors who don't.
Yeah, I would, but I'll tell you, and be very honest about this. I would, because I'm frankly in a position to offer, pay for extra tutoring for my son or daughter, to make sure that they went to pre-K, and if they didn't get a seat, could pay for private pre-K, would pay for summer camp or summer tutoring.
Right. But
the reality is
most
most of the parents in Providence don't have that situation.
Right.
There are many students who get an excellent education in Providence public schools.
Right.
But most of them have a parent who knows how to and is a full-time advocate for them.
Right.
It's the parents who don't know how to do that, who are working 2 or 3 jobs, that can't be that full-time advocate, that sometimes get lost in a system as big as Providence.
Right. All right. We're going to be back with Mayor Smiley after the break to discuss the fate of the Providence Place. And what about those pallet houses that are opening up? Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. We continue our accountability discussion with the Providence Mayor, Brett Smiley. A couple of other big issues is Providence Place in receivership. Some will argue that the mall has a bad PR problem. Some feel A, there's not a store for me, and B, I don't know if it's safe. That's tough to kind of overcome.
Yeah. Providence Place Mall is facing some of the same challenges malls across America are facing. The receiver has identified a couple problems that they're going to fix. Excuse me. First of which is the parking situation. Many of the machines aren't working, the arms aren't working. Those repairs are supposed to be done by the end of the month. We have stepped up both mall security and Providence police activity to make sure that people feel safe. You are safe at the mall, but we want to make sure you see a visible presence to ensure that that's in fact the case. But we were laughing off camera. I'm not really the target audience for the mall. The mall's busy. They had a great holiday season, but it's a younger target market. The stores there target younger audience, and I'm not shopping at Pacific Sun anymore, or some of those stores that I might have gone to when I was in high school.
But if they can't attract you and me, and then isn't that the big problem? Because if they're going after the younger crowd, I mean, they don't have enough money, right? I
Not
mean,
necessarily.
My kids go to the mall; they barely have enough money. I have to pay for it. So, and you said about
they have parents with money. So,
but you say no crime too. But we had 2 incidents on the cross bridge right there from a beautiful hotel. So again, it's perception, and I was driving by and I look up and saw level 99. I couldn't tell you what they sell.
Right. So on the mall's offerings, they need to diversify like every other mall is diversifying, to have more entertainment, more things that's not just retail shopping. That's what level 99 is. It's doing great, by the way. Bar, food, and like escape room games and such. And it's doing great. It's thriving. And then with respect to safety, I didn't say there was no crime. I said that the mall is safe. The incidents of crime are quite low. And the incident that you referred to, these were young people known to one another. This wasn't a random shopper from the suburbs who had an incident.
Right. That's fair.
And by the way, the people involved have been held responsible and accountable.
Can I get to the pallet houses, because my back's up against the wall time-wise right here. So we're finally opening these things. I'm just wondering how you see how that works, because I had someone feel like, and not to judge by anyone, but are police going to be called there a lot? Are people going to be peeing outside? Like, what is life like going to be in that neighborhood?
So we think it's going to be well run. There's a really professional operation who's running it. There are facilities on site. There's bathrooms. There's showers. There's on site 24-hour staff people. It's going to be a little community. It's a shelter that we have many of in the city that don't disrupt the neighborhoods that they're in, but they're individual homes. They're going to pull people off of what's called the Coordinated Entry System list, the CES list. So there's going to be people with high needs that have been hard to place, and it's 40 some odd folks that aren't going to be on the street tonight and going to have a better place.
I'm going to hold you right there. I'd like to talk longer, but Mayor, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Barbara?
Thank you.
Yeah,